Hello, and welcome. Welcome on into the Swear Word. I'm your host, Brandon Swear. And hey, this is a podcast for the chili community, by the chili community. Regardless of your spice tolerance, this is the place for you. Man, up tonight, we have an amazing show ready to go. We have one sauce on deck for Hot or Not, as well as a great guest locked and loaded and a very fun game planned. So episode 127 starts now. What's going on, Swear Nation? So glad to have everyone here, whether you're tuning in on YouTube, Spotify, Rumble, or Apple Podcast. Thank you so much for being here and continuing to make this show what it is. Continue to share this out with other like-minded chili heads or individuals that are just curious about the world of hot, because this is where you can find everything to do with the world of hot. Now, up tonight, we have one sauce on deck. This is from Fxcking Hot Sauces that we'll be diving on into. Looking forward to checking that one out, as well as we have Justin Orr from High Spice, and we're going to be talking everything to do with High Spice, how he got started, the overall inspirations, and where he's really seeing this continue to grow and where it's going to go. And so looking forward to having that conversation, as well as we have a very fun iteration of the Sauce Gauntlet. So if you would have answered the Sauce Gauntlet any different than Justin did, go ahead and let me know down in the comments what your substitutions or swaps or overall winner might have been. With all that being said, let's do this. Let's go ahead and jump on over to Hot or Not. All right, hey, welcome on into Hot or Not. If this is your first time checking out the podcast or checking out Hot or Not, do things a little bit different here. I don't do a 1 out of 10 scale. I do 1 out of 5, and that's really based off of 5 different categories. Those categories are heat, aroma, flavor, versatility, burn. We add those up, average them out, and that gives us the total swear word rating. So, with that being said, I also don't like to read the ingredients ahead of time. I like to let my taste buds do the exploration. I tell you what I'm picking up from an aroma and flavor standpoint, and then we all learn together what the overall ingredients are, and maybe there was something that I wasn't able to pinpoint, but let's do this. Let's go ahead and jump into the first sauce. Chasing Swamp. Overall, great playful imagery going on here, and then you see this great overall seal to the bottle there. Let's see if I can just turn it. Yep, sure enough, turn it, twist it. The seal cracks. You're seeing a little bit of seasoning. It is a nice kind of a dull red color to the overall sauce, with what looks like a little bit of spice going on in there, a little bit of seasoning going on in there. And I'm going to give this a good shake. There is no flow restrictor, just the natural built-in one from the way the bottle is shaped. With it being a higher flow sauce, it makes perfect sense to have that on this. Wow. Beautiful aroma, very bright, very zesty, a nice savory level to this depth. You're already picking up the heat from the aroma. Garlic, what smells like maybe some onion, maybe a little bit of citrus, but I'm definitely picking up the vinegar and peppers. But cheers. Man, oh man, absolutely amazing. Savory, smooth flavor coming forward with a little bit of what tastes like onion, some garlic, a little bit of citrus maybe. A nice iteration of different types of peppers. I say that because of the way not only is it hitting on the initial burn aspect, but also that body. It was a nice flash heat to the tongue, to the gums, and then it really started to kind of sting a little bit, so it makes me think that there's got to be some habaneros going on in this, and then there's a nice smooth undertone and very consistent heat paired with this as well, all of which is just solely focused on the mouth burn and the center of the mouth area, and the burn is continuing. So nothing in the back of the throat, nothing in the chest, nothing in the stomach. If you're just starting out, you could be able to use this in moderation and pair this with certain foods, soups, stews, sandwiches, burgers, pizzas, tacos, quesadillas, enchiladas, you name it. This thing's going to go great on it. This would also go great in a salad dressing as the overall heat base. If you're working on your own personal best, this is a nice medium heat sauce for you all day long. But let's do this. Let's go ahead and read some ingredients here. So we have distilled vinegar, apple cider vinegar, water, jalapenos, habanero peppers, garlic, sea salt, white pepper, paprika, cayenne pepper, black pepper, oregano, onion powder, gumbo file, and sassafras. The cascading of different peppers was definitely prevalent in the flavor carry through. So let's talk on what those are. You had jalapenos, habaneros, paprika, and cayenne peppers, different flavor profiles that are going on in here. Now, the main heat is going to be coming from those habaneros and that cayenne. That cayenne and habaneros are carrying that consistent burn the whole way through. The habaneros are delivering that sting. The jalapenos are that quick action that you're feeling, that nice initial thump, and then that hands off straight into the cayennes and hands off into the habaneros. It allows a level of depth to the overall burn. All right, here we go. Heat coming in at 3.15, aroma of 3.79, a flavor of a 4, versatility of a 4, a burn of a 3.45 for a total swear word rating of 3.68. There we go. Once again, Chasing Swamp by Fxcking Hot Sauces. If you enjoyed the sauce here tonight, I'll have the direct links down below for it, as well as a link to the full site so you can check out all the amazing products from Fxcking Hot Sauces. But let's do this. Let's go ahead and jump on over to tonight's interview. Hey, Justin, how's it going?
It's going great, man.
Well, glad to have you here. I have, my inbox has been blown up through Instagram, Facebook, you name it. So many people throwing your name in the ring for having you on here. So, of course, honored to have you here and learn more about High Spice.
Yeah, it's an honor to hear that people are saying good things about us. Yeah, you always hear the negative comments first. You don't ever really hear people throwing out praise too often, so we're really excited to hear that.
Well, it's definitely a lot of people as I go through these different sauces. A lot of those that are watching, a lot of Swear citizens like to chime in and say, hey, you've tried this sauce, but you need to try this one from High Spice. And so,
Cool.
it's definitely on the radar of things to check out. And obviously it has opened this door here. One thing I like to lead off with, it's really the icebreaker, if you will, which is what got you into the world of hot? And then what was that catapulting moment where you decided, I'm going to go start making my own spicy products?
Yeah, so I was in the restaurant industry out here in Maui, Hawaii, when I moved out here for the second time in 2005. I moved out here right out of college in 2002, then moved back to Seattle, then moved back out here in 2005, realizing that this was a pretty magical place, and it is best decision I ever made. And then I met my wife out here near the end of 2005 as well. So we've been lucky to live out here for almost 20 years together. Being in the restaurant industry, you're around great chefs, foodie-minded people. And I worked in a breakfast restaurant, and we had some crazy customers that would come in all the time they would order the hottest peppers that they could find. The internet was in its infancy in 2005. It wasn't what it is now. So it took a lot of pulling teeth to what are you looking at online that you're able to find these peppers? So anyways, me and a couple buddies would take some of the seeds that he would dissect from these peppers, and we tried growing some. And we were trying to grow some peppers so we can have these hottest peppers, so we can try to make something out of it for these regulars that would keep coming back into the restaurant. And that's what kind of spurred the interest. And then, I worked in the industry for 10 years, and I created some sauces that we'd give as friends, gifts for friends and family and coworkers and these regulars in the restaurants. And then one thing led to another. People kept asking for them, and I kept making them just for fun. And my wife was getting frustrated because, it's not a business, so costs are high. So buying glass bottles is a pain. And so I would recycle old Cholula bottles and old large Tabasco bottles and scrub them out with pipe cleaners and soak them in bleach water and scrub them. And our entire kitchen would be just hundreds of bottles all the time. And she's like, this is getting out of control. So we launched a Kickstarter in 2016, and that's what kind of made it official, but it was still really just intended to be a side hustle, like a farmer's market deal. Try to maybe pay a couple bills every month by doing this on the weekends. So it wasn't my full-time job really until like 2018, maybe I'd say 2018 is when it was like full on. That's how I'm making my paycheck. My wife Katie still had her full-time job up until the end of 2019. That was kind of a milestone for me. I tried to build the business to a point where I could pull her away from the hotel industry, because it grinds you down, and it's hospitality is awesome until it's not, and it's a cliff. You don't
Yep.
know it until you get pushed off of it. So luckily, end of 2019, we pulled her away from the hotels right in time for COVID to happen. So it was kind of a blessing, and really is like, man, I wish we would have waited like 7 more months. Then we would have been set up a little bit better. But that's how it started, and it's just thankfully grown organically. We have a really loyal fan base. We're blessed to live in an amazing place, and that kind of is the bedrock of what High Spice has grown to be about. Is in our tagline. It's inspired, grown, and crafted in Hawaii. So everything. I'm not obviously from Hawaii. I'm probably the whitest white boy you'll ever meet, but I love everything about Hawaii, and I really respect the culture and the hard work it takes to survive out here, and the beautiful things that grow out here. The fruits, the style of cooking. Those are all things that we take into consideration when we try to come up with new flavors. So that's what I think we're known for, like our fruity flavors, because we have all the tropicals all the time. We have pineapple, mango, lilikoi, guava, dragon fruit. We have all these amazing things that grow out here all the time, and they aren't processed products from a can on a store, because you can buy those things anywhere all the time, but they aren't growing fresh from someone's garden or farm here in Hawaii.
Yep.
And I think the number one compliment we get is that, man, this tastes so fresh. It tastes like you literally just picked it. And, probably by the time you get your bottle, it had probably been on a farm somewhere within the last month. And so that's something we take a lot of pride in.
Well, that is awesome to hear. And yes, walking through that, being able in 2019 to be in a position to have her step back from, the hotel industry as a whole, and as, for a lot of us out there, that is a overarching goal, is to be able to afford the ability to be able to allow our wives or significant others to be able to do what they enjoy doing, or find what they enjoy doing, given like that breaking free from, as you're saying, basically the overarching handcuffs that are just the day-to-day grind that a lot of us get stuck in. So that's super cool to hear, inspiring to hear. And, one thing that also stood out in my mind was, talking through the different culinary backgrounds and so on. When you first came to Hawaii, were you working in kitchens then, or what was that like, that overall or journey?
No, really, I just kind of grew up in the kitchen with my parents. I was always asked to help with making dinner. I didn't just show up to the dinner table and food was magically there. I'd help my parents chop the vegetables, prepare whatever proteins we're going to eat. If Dad was grilling around the grill, I was nose over the edge, figuring out what the heck Dad was doing. So I was always involved with helping. I wouldn't say I was like in charge of anything, but I was always curious about how things and why things were put together. Um, And so that kind of just created this sense of curiosity in the kitchen, I think, from a young age. And then going off to college and having to fend for yourself. I wasn't and when most college kids are eating top ramen all the time or mac and cheese, I'm like making full on dinners for my roommates, and they're like, how the heck do you know how to do all this? And you know, I just never was a stranger to the kitchen. So I think that just helped push me along as I entered adulthood, and just not being afraid to like try something. And yeah, my first job was, I was only 15 years old, was in a Japanese kitchen, Japanese restaurant. It was like a teppanyaki style restaurant where they cook it in front of you.
Yeah.
And I started as a dishwasher, but they had me, by the time I graduated high school, I was in the back kitchen cooking all the hot plates that you can get, like chicken katsu, your yakitori chicken skewers, your fried rice. I learned how to cook all those, but more importantly, the lady who was in charge of like cracking the whip on me, basically, she was a taskmaster taskmaster for sure. She taught me how to chop vegetables properly and quickly and efficiently. And that really is what taught me how to navigate a kitchen with purpose and efficiency, which I think has really helped us as we moved into how we run our kitchen now, to be able to process all these fruits and vegetables that we have to do. We don't buy mashes, we don't buy prepared things. We are literally chopping them from fresh into a stock pot, cooking them down into a sauce and bottling it. So it kind of has been a culmination from the time I think I was like 15 years old, and now it's become a thing. So
Yeah, it's always interesting and wild to have that moment of self-reflection, and you may not see it in that moment, the struggle, the headache, the whatever that you're going through at that moment, but to just take a breath and reflect on kind of like where you've been and what obstacles you overcame to get where you are now. It's one, it frees up the mind and it lets you know that you're not just spinning your wheels, but then two, it's a great aha light bulb moment whenever you can systematically walk through, okay, well, that's what I was learning in this phase of my life. And when I was here, then this is the other thing that I was learning. And all this adds up to what I'm doing right now and how I'm doing
yeah,
this at such a high level. That's super cool. And yeah, a lot of the others that I have had the chance to get to know and talk to, that have had that culinary experience, whether whether they had a short stint in the kitchen or not, being able to, as you're saying, have that task manager at hand that's really keeping you up to date, running fast as you can through there, safely as you can.
yeah,
It ends up expediting so much more of the process, in the kitchen, and you're not having super exorbitant cook times just to be able to bottle and cook and bottle and have everything done. It's definitely something that I hear as a positive moment, as to where those that don't seem to have that, oftentimes you'll hear, well, I got to go to the kitchen today. It's not quite as upbeat and happy, right?
yeah,
So no, that's cool.
yeah. I think as we've grown the last, I'd say 4 years, that like you just kind of touched on it there, that like, oh man, I got to go in the kitchen today, I got to make another batch of hot sauce. I feel very lucky that I haven't fallen into that mode of thinking, because I think what we've done really well as we've grown is we've hired some great help. Truly consider them friends that help us make hot sauce. So I have two guys in there that on a day-to-day basis, it's the three of us pretty much physically making it. And we bounce ideas off each other, and physically share the task of making it. And I think it takes the burden, because there is a physical and a mental burden of making this.
Oh yeah.
The fun part is coming up with new ideas, new flavors, new ways. That's the exciting part. That's why we all love doing this. Um, but if you have to shoulder all of that burden yourself, it doesn't matter how excited you are about a new flavor. If you don't have someone to help bounce ideas off of, or at least share the workload with, to physically make it, it's impossible to, I think, enjoy it for a long term. For short term, yeah, you can power through it, but if you're going to have consistency year after year after year, the smartest, best move I think we've made is pulling in the right pieces, having great people helping us make this, because we don't do it alone. So
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. That being able to have someone not only there to bounce ideas off of, but help kind of alleviate that mental load is got to be tremendous to the overall process. With that being said, you have quite the lineup of different offerings going on here now. When you first started out, what was do you first of all, do you still offer the original sauce that you started with? And then second of all, what was that sauce?
we don't. Funny enough that you bring that up. The guys and I in the kitchen were literally just talking about that, because in September will be the beginning of our 10th year. We're finishing up 9 years, so this next year is our birthday year, our anniversary year, and we've been trying to figure out what can we do for special for that. And my idea was to maybe bring back as close to the original recipe as we used to have when we started. And it was just a classic carrot based onion, heavy garlic, heavy onion, lots of carrot for that sweetness and texture. Habanero sauce. I mean, it wasn't anything special, but it was just packed full of just great flavors. You had a little savory, a little sweet, the spicy, the citrusy, the habanero. Um, that sauce was really the prototype for almost all of our sauces that we created for like the next 6 years. We really didn't really start venturing out from that mold until I had some help trying to come up and then coming up with some new ideas too. So
Yep.
that first sauce was a habanero carrot based sauce, and it was good. Um, and what the closest thing to that sauce is now today that you can still get on our website is our turmeric and ginger hot sauce.
Okay.
Um, Went to the local farmers market that we've worked for 9 straight years now. We used to just go there. Katie and I used to go there just to get our veggies and stuff on the weekend. Um, I walked by a farmer booth, which was usually the source of all our inspiration for new flavors anyway. We're like, what's new growing? And he had a massive mound of locally grown turmeric on the table. I didn't even know what the heck turmeric was. It just looked like orange ginger to me. And I was looking at it. The farmer was looking at me laughing because he could see how puzzled I was. He's like, "Do you want to try it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll try it." I bit into it, and it tasted like a spicy, kind of bitter carrot. I'm like, this tastes horrible by itself. But then I walked to the next booth and the next booth and the next booth, and someone had like turmeric bread and turmeric juice and turmeric this and turmeric that. I'm like, dude, is this the new food? Like, is this everyone's living off of this? It seemed like. So I was like, well, what if I just take this sauce that everyone makes? Everyone, I think, has a carrot-based hot sauce. I think it's like an internet staple. It's like hot sauce 101 is like, let's add some carrots.
Hmm.
It's not a bad idea, but everybody does it. So my idea is like, well, if we're going to do some sauces, we got to kind of stand out. How are we going to do that? And that's where the idea of let's feature the stuff that's growing here in Hawaii that isn't necessarily growing everywhere else all the time. Like, that's going to be our thing. Like, let's provide some flavors that you just can't get anywhere else. And so that's why we kind of backed away from the original flavor and went down this road of turmeric and ginger, fresh pressed guava juice,
Yep.
Maui Gold pineapple. That was the inspiration, the aha moment. Like, this is going to be our secret sauce, so to speak, is by just whatever's at the farmer's market, we're going to make a hot sauce out of that.
Yeah.
So
No, it's a great way to look at it too, because you're also you're staying local with what you have going on. You're staying tapped into what's going on around you, and you're playing to the creativity aspect of what you have readily available there in Hawaii. So makes perfect sense there. And I think it would be, yes, to that point, it would be super cool to see the original sauce come back, whether that be just a limited run for, this upcoming year or not. I think that it would be a fun payment to the homage of the, origins of everything. So
Yeah.
yeah, I can see that. I can see that being a lot of fun. Now, like I said, with the amount of sauces that y'all have, how often are you doing R&D on new products, or was a lot of this kind of like accumulated over a shorter span, and then now you've recently just kind of started to fluctuate and feel out what's appropriate to continue and what's not?
Yeah. Yeah. So when we launched our Kickstarter, we launched with 4 flavors. That was the turmeric ginger, the jalapeno lime, the pineapple habanero, and our Chiave smoked scorpion hot sauce. Those 4 were our fruity, our savory, our citrusy, and our smokies. So we kind of hit all the bases with those 4 flavors. And for a year or two, that was what we had. That was what we. Quickly, we came out with papaya guava. Was a quick young sauce. We just re-released. We usually do it once a year. Our black raspberry and ghost pepper sauce. We only have one farm here on Maui that grows black raspberries, so we kind of slowly accumulate them when it's in season, and when we have enough berries, we make a batch.
Okay.
Usually that sells out really quick when we email everybody letting them know that one's ready. It wasn't until about 3 years ago, I don't even know what popped in my head. I'm like, we're going to start a subscription model. You had the Heatness box. You had the Heat Hot Sauce shop, I think, out of LA.
Yep.
You had a couple different boxes going around, and what's awesome about those is that you can get a sauce from all these different companies, right? Well, about 3 years ago, I was like, we have about 15 flavors at that time. I was like, we can offer a really good variety to people, and what I'm going to do is just offer it at an incredibly good value. You're losing variety of other companies by getting an incredible value of fresh sauces coming all the way from Hawaii. And I was like, there's got to be someone out there that wants that, And so, including shipping, like a subscription for 4 bottles costs $35.
Oh wow,
You get
that's not
4
bad.
bottles, including shipping, for $35. It's like, I can't. That's basically wholesale right there.
Yeah.
And it's slowly grown. There's fluctuations. Some months we lose a couple people, and some months we gain like 10 or 12. And it's like, oh my God. But that moment is also when it stuck it to us. We're like, all right, we have to get creative every single month, because the kicker is that the 4th flavor, so it's four bottles in a box. The 4th flavor is something new every single month. There's no repeats. There's no, we're going to bring back the raspberry ghost and that's going to be your 4th flavor. No, that's not the way it works. Every single month, we have to come up with a new flavor. So at least 1 week out of every single month, all the guys in the kitchen, we get together and we have a powwow and throw a bunch of ideas up on the chalkboard and be like, all right, what kind of direction do we want to go? Like, we've done this and this and this and this. Let's try to go something that is different, So this current month, we made our version of a chimichurri sauce.
Oh, nice.
And we have a unique handicap in our business here in Hawaii, that our kitchen is what they refer to as a cold kitchen. We cannot cook with any fats or oils because we don't have a grease trap. And so there's a lot of flavors that I would love to make out there if I added a little bit of olive oil or something like that to give it some texture. And so it's hard to come up with new flavor profiles and new textures and things like that in a sauce if you're only stuck with the same ingredients all the time.
Yeah.
And so we've come up with some creative ways, and that's kind of spurred creativity instead of hindering it, I think, over the long haul. So yeah, we've done some crazy fun stuff. Basically taking an idea of like a chimichurri. It's not really a chimichurri. Like, if you lined up the ingredients next to what a traditional recipe for chimichurri is, you'd laugh at me and go, like, that's not a chimichurri. It's like, it's kind of a chimichurri. It's chimichurri-esque, right?
Yeah. It's
So,
inspired by.
like, if I wanted to make a chimichurri, I would just go make a chimichurri. Like, but we're trying to help people kind of think outside the box a little bit. And have fun with their food. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and I've always leaned into this question more so at hot sauce expos and stuff, but I think this actually works perfect here as well, which is since you've utilized quite a few ingredients. Is there an ingredient that you have tried to work with, but just have not had any success with it? And then is there an ingredient that you're just like, man, this one, it never fails me. It always is done right.
Yeah, there's an ingredient here in Hawaii, and so it might sound weird to any of your viewers, but in Hawaii we have this um, like a fruit. I don't know if you can call it a fruit. It's called breadfruit. Here in Hawaii, it's called ulu. Um, it looks like a gigantic pineapple that grows on a tree, but isn't a pineapple, and it isn't sweet unless it's like almost so ripe that it's rotten. Um, and there's like a 2 second period where it's perfect and it's too ripe. It's like a very temperamental thing that grows on trees out here. Um, it's one of the original food crops that the Hawaiian culture brought here from Polynesian islands in the evolution of the island chain of Hawaii. It's one of the main foods that like supported and propped up the Hawaiian kingdom. And so I thought it'd be really cool to make a hot sauce out of it. It's kind of starchy. It's kind of like a potato. It's like a potato that grows on a tree. And it got its name breadfruit because when like Captain Cook and all the British sailors would come out here to Hawaii, they would literally take them and chuck them in the fireplace in the fires and stuff where they're cooking their food, and it would steam from the inside out, and it would crack open once it's steamed up enough, and it smells like baking bread.
Oh,
And so
wow.
they started that's how they got the name breadfruit.
That's interesting.
Problem is it's so starchy, it kind of clogs up in the bottle and never really um, flows. It doesn't have a good flow to it.
Hmm.
And the other thing, it's kind of like mashed potatoes. Like it only tastes good because you put a ton of butter and salt and sour cream on it, right? So
Hmm.
it's kind of a vegetable that takes on the flavor of whatever else you add to it. So I'm like, oh, it's not really kind of a flavor. It's not bringing anything to the table other than being too starchy. So it's kind of one that I've tried to do multiple times and I've failed multiple times. So one day maybe.
Yep. Yeah. No,
The one, yeah.
I was gonna say that's an interesting one, and definitely just learn something about that the breadfruit, but that's pretty wild that it just steams and cracks open when it's essentially ready.
Yeah. It's a crop that, if you're interested in food sustainability and cultures across the world, it's a crop that's becoming more and more prevalent again here in Hawaii, as Hawaii has a huge push to become food secure in itself because we are an island. We
Hmm.
can't just call up a neighboring state, say, hey, can you send us over 10 semi trucks full of food? It has to come on a boat. If so, food security out here in Hawaii is a huge issue, and that's why we choose to make the hard part of the business is to support local agriculture, is to help foster that.
Hmm.
Because versus just calling up a warehouse in California and saying, hey, yeah, send me 1,000 pounds of whatever. I'm having to slowly work with a local farmer and be like, hey, do you want to go on this crazy spicy journey? We're gonna be whipping up some weird flavors. Are you cool with that? And they're looking at me like I'm crazy. It's taken 10 years of working with these local farmers and paying them, and then going like, well, this crazy white guy, he always pays me, so if he wants me to grow something else, yeah, I'll grow it for him. Let's see what happens. It's taken a lot of time and a lot of patience and a lot of guarantees to get farmers to come on this journey with us. And so
Yeah.
it's a underlying. I mean, I tell people all the time, we aren't food. We make food taste better, but food security out here in Hawaii is it's like a hot button issue out here. If the boat stopped coming, I think they said Hawaii would run out of food within 7 days.
Wow.
Like that's how fragile our food system is out here. And so it's a problem that no one likes to think about because it's kind of scary if you actually start thinking about it.
Yeah.
On the other note, on the other question, that's a whole other interview in itself. The one ingredient that I think has surprised me that has done so well and isn't even really technical ingredient is our smoked sauces. Most sauces that you run into in the hot sauce game or the barbecue game is by using liquid smoke.
Hmm.
Especially if you're using a co-pack sauce. Co-packers like to cheat because it's cheaper, and they'll just a couple drops go a long way, you know. And so
Hmm.
it's a super cheap ingredient. We don't use any liquid smoke. We use out here in Hawaii. We have a wood similar to mesquite, and it's called kiave. And it's super hard. It has the biggest thorns. Everyone's wearing flip-flops out here, and if you walk to the beach and you step on one of the thorns are big enough to go through your slipper into your foot.
Mm.
But it has the best, smooth, sweetest smoke flavor. And so all of our smoked sauces, we smoke the peppers, we smoke the onions, um, and it just gives the perfect amount of a smooth, smoky flavor without being like over the top too much. That is the ingredient that has surprised me that I feel like we started off being known for our fruity flavors. Now I think our smoky, savory flavors get a lot of attention um, equally to as the fruity flavors. So, yeah.
That sounds amazing. I definitely I love the luau pig and having that like nice and slow smoked and everything. I assume is that going to be I guess not so much here for the Hawaiian food that you can get here in the States, but over in Maui, is that something that they would utilize in that process? Is that same type of wood?
If you go to someone's barbecue, if you go to a real house barbecue, if you're lucky enough that someone invites you to their barbecue, most likely they're cooking something up with kiave, and you will smell it from a mile away. And unfortunately, Katie will attest to this. You'll smell it in your clothes for like a week. It doesn't go away. It it's like you went camping for a week. You know how you get that camp smell in your
Yep.
clothes, and they have to be washed separately from everything else.
Yep.
This is just like that. It permeates everything. It smells good, but at the same time, you walk into a store after you've been smoking all day. You see people looking around like, what the, what is that? And it's like that's me. Sorry.
Yep. Yep.
Um, so it's really good if you get Hawaiian food there or Hawaiian food.
Yeah.
Um, Usually they're probably going to be using liquid smoke. If you're in Texas, maybe I think mesquite's pretty prevalent.
Yeah.
You could probably get some mesquite there in Texas, and it's going to taste similar.
Yep.
Um, so,
Okay. Okay. Good to know. Yeah, I know the majority of the places around here that I've asked. Yeah, that's the main thing I hear is they'll either use mesquite. A few have mentioned applewood, but that was about
yeah.
it. Okay, that's good to know because I definitely love Hawaiian food. I love different Hawaiian dishes, and so to be able to learn about that, it's kind of just sparked my interest there for to learn a little bit
Yeah,
more into that.
I think if you ask any like quote unquote craft style maker,
Uh-huh.
um, what they are smoking their stuff with, I think the smaller companies like ourselves take the time to use a smoke like an applewood, cherrywood, mesquite, something like that. I think it gives so much distinction in that flavor. Um, I think once you get to a co-packer level size of a company,
Uh-huh.
um, they're the ones that I think are going to cut a corner there with using a liquid smoke. And so shout out to all the small makers out there because I think we take a lot of pride because smoking with real wood gives such a distinct flavor that you cannot get from a bottle. You can't get it.
Absolutely.
You just cannot.
Synthetic, like that synthetic taste from liquid smoke is not preferred. Now I will tip my hat to the makers that know how to utilize liquid smoke without it being overpowering, and you just
Absolutely.
get that nice little accent. But so many miss that mark, And so to
Yeah.
be able to have a real smoke is, much, much more preferred. I wanted to point this out earlier, and because I noticed it whenever I was looking over your site, but this hat right here, I don't know why, but it has caught my eye, and it is the most amazing looking stylings going on here. So wanted to say, congratulations on that amazing piece of art. But I noticed it wasn't as a standalone in your offerings for hats. So I assume it only comes with that sauce and swag bundle.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're probably giving you the old bait and switch with that hat. We work with in our effort to support local and work with local companies. All of our hats come from a local hat maker here in Maui, and his designs are most often one of a kind. Um, he makes his templates. He buys his massive sheets and of fabric and designs that he creates. He comes up with the designs, and a lot of times it's like if you see it, buy it, because you don't know if it's going to be come around. Every once in a while, like that hat there with the UFO has made, I think, three returns, which is, that it's the exception to the rule. Usually, if you see it, you got to buy it because it's not going to be back. Um, so it's kind of fun. So we take his designs, he comes up with really fun designs, and then he's nice enough to just put our logos on the hats. Um, and it's kind of a way for us to help support his business. And yeah, that's
Yeah.
just,
No,
unfortunately, it's a bait and switch.
no worries there. I'm big into the whole well, I like to nerd out on the whole alien side of things and
Yeah.
all the little fun lore behind it all. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I saw that and I was like, all right, that's pretty cool. So, all right. Well, then I guess on the note of the subscription boxes, also talking along the lines of the products that you have going on, one thing that I'm always curious about, and definitely more so, with you being an island, what is the overall response? Are you doing majority of your business on Hawaii, on the different islands, or are you also seeing a huge spike in certain states? What does that look like for you?
Yeah. So our direct to consumer business, through our website, I would say is like 95% to the mainland USA. Um, and so our business is kind of three pronged. We have our website, we have our wholesale, which is we have, I think, two places on the mainland that you can buy our hot sauce at a business, and that's because they're friends of ours. Um, we don't distribute to the mainland because, one, it costs a lot to
Yep.
get things out here, and then have to pay to have it all shipped back to the mainland. It's just like, by the time you end up having to pay for it, it's ridiculous, on a retail level.
Oh yeah.
Um, so we avoid doing that. And the story of why we make the flavors we do. If, say, like my favorite hot sauce store I'm from Seattle, my favorite hot sauce store, to give them a shout out, is Double D Meats. Um, they have literally like 1,000 companies, hot sauce companies, and all their sauces. It's amazing. Like, it's a hot sauce lover's paradise. You can't leave there without spending at least $100. You're just going nuts. Um, I If we distributed to them, we would be a great Hawaiian representing company in a sea of 1,000 other great companies on that shelf.
Yeah.
And I think the story gets lost there. So if someone's willing to take the time to come back to visit our website after they've come to Hawaii, fallen in love with Hawaii, what it's all about, they understand the ingredients and the effort that it goes to put into these bottles, they kind of understand why it is that we did what we did for that bottle. And so those are the people that come back to our website. And so we've kind of made the hard decision right now that distributing to the mainland wasn't really an option. So direct, if you want to buy it from us direct, go to our website. We have our wholesale, and then we do our farmers market. We do 2 farmers markets every Saturday. And so that is the core. That is the core of our business. That's, That's how we make the money.
Yeah.
is
No,
is the
it
three-pronged attack.
it makes perfect sense to me. And yes, because that was a whole nother reason why I wanted to ask that. Definitely with, Hawaii being so far away from really just about all the other states in the United States. It's like ultimately, yes, the shipping on that alone has got to be pretty wild at times. And then, if God forbid, USPS somehow drops the ball or whoever the shipping partner is, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, sure, it may have insurance, you may have to go through that process, but then you're having to go through that process. You got the headache. You still have a customer without the product, and this whole debacle really
Yeah.
starts to unravel quick. Um,
Yeah.
so it just
There's, there's
it's
a lot
one
of
of those
pieces. Yeah.
things. Yeah, there's a lot of pieces that are moving with that. It's uh, uh, yeah.
It it's been something we've had to navigate over these years. Is how do we get how once people come out here all the way out here to Hawaii, they have the best vacation of their life. They're having the most beautiful beaches, eating the most amazing food, probably the most expensive food they've ever eaten, staying at the most expensive hotels they've ever had, and there's our bottles sitting right there. We're in a lot of the hotels, and so that's kind of like our business model. We're gonna hopefully interact with you indirectly at all these places where you're experiencing this Hawaiian vacation of a lifetime. Some people save their entire life to bring their family out here for that. So
Yep.
it's kind of an emotion. It's wrapped up in all the emotions along with the natural beauty that Hawaii is bringing to the table as well. And we're hoping when you're in like middle of nowhere, middle America, and it's November 3rd and it's just raining sideways, if not snowing, and you're like, let's go and order a Hawaiian pizza from down the way and put some of our pineapple hot sauce on there and pretend that we're back on Maui. That's kind of where we're trying to pull on your heartstring a little bit to like, hey, remember us because we're part of that best vacation you've ever had. We want to stay associated with that and have you at least somewhere in the back of your mind remember that that hot sauce, that it wasn't our vacation, but it was a good, tasty part of our vacation.
Yep.
So
Yep. Tugging on that core memory
yeah.
definitely makes sense. Okay. Okay. Well, I want to ask one more question before we jump on over to the game. And that is now you offer quite the wide swing from everything from mild to the extreme. Where is your personal preference / everyday use?
Yeah. My all-time favorite flavor is the smoked scorpion. I think it's kind of like your first child type of thing. It's my baby. It was the first hot sauce that I ever was like, yeah, this is the one. It hits all the savory buttons for me. It's smoky. It's over the top garlicky. It's got a nice onion base to it. It just it's a for me it's a perfect hot everyday sauce. Um, if I wanted to go fruity, my favorite one, fruity, is the pineapple. It just goes good on everything: breakfast, lunch, dinner, fish, eggs. Doesn't matter. Out here in Hawaii, we have a dish called a loco moco,
Mm-hmm.
which is rice, or if you're lucky enough, fried rice. You get a nice big, like, third pound, maybe half pound if you're lucky, big burger patty. Couple sunny side eggs and gravy over the top of that.
Oh yeah.
All those savory, fatty things, and then you put this nice, crisp, spicy pineapple on top. It just it just goes. It just works. So those two are my 1-2 hit is the smoked scorpion, followed by the pineapple for the sweet side of things. Yeah.
That the Loco Moco with whenever I used to drink more often, I guess if you will, that would be one of my next day wake up break that
Yeah.
hangover with a nice greasy burger patty and some fried
Yeah.
rice or rice in general. Now the one that I had in particular had cubed chopped up spam that was hard fried and thrown into
Yep.
the yeah,
Yes.
that's so good, so
It,
good.
it's kind of like the Hawaiian version of poutine. If you've ever been up in Canada tying one on. Usually I find the poutine cart outside of a bar at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And that is the only thing I could really equate to the equivalent of like Canadian poutine or Hawaiian loco moco. They're easily cousins, and they both taste so good with either of those hot sauces.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sounds great there. Well, let's do this. Let's jump over to the game, and I'm sure this conversation's about to continue over there.
Okay.
All right, here we go. We have the Sauce Gauntlet. This is iteration number 21 for all those that are keeping track at home. Now, before I even explain anything, what I will say is just because something gets the X today does not mean that you absolutely hate this product and that you do not wish it to continue. Just simply only one can win. And, well, I might have asked that last question for a reason, because today you're going to have to pick your favorite child. So,
Okay.
up first, let's get this one punched in here. We have the papaya guava versus the avocado.
So I have to choose who wins out of those two?
Yeah, I mean, however you want to rank it, whatever the criteria, totally up to you. Simply, just one has to end up winning this.
Yeah. I mean, papaya guava is like I said, one of our OG sauces from the beginning. But avocado is a fun flavor that the guys and I kind of dreamt up in the kitchen using local Hawaii grown avocados. And I got to go avocado. It's just different for us. It's a different flavor. Yeah.
Easy enough. Let's get that X over there, and we will.
Still love you, papaya guava.
We will keep it moving. And up next, we have the pineapple versus, well, the pineapple ginger. Did this one deliberately so we could just edge out one pineapple sauce.
Out of pure utility, I would go with the milder pineapple. Pineapple ginger is my go-to if I'm having fish tacos, but pineapple just goes on everything. So
makes sense.
I have to go with
the All right. Well, up next we have the lava lime versus the papaya jerk.
If you ever have a chance to come hang out with me, you'll know that papaya jerk is one of my low-key favorite sauces we make. I love it. I love Caribbean style food, and I've had people from the Caribbean tell me that this sauce is, if it was maybe a bit spicier, is like spot on flavor wise. So nice. I was pretty proud to hear that. So I'm gonna go papaya jerk.
All right, I like it. Don't know how that one's got so much bigger than the other bottles, but we'll just fix that there real quick.
So much flavor.
Yep, so much flavor can't be contained. All right. Up next, well, this is the shoyu chili versus the smoked habanero.
Shoyu chili is a local flavor here in Hawaii. Chili pepper water is something you'll run into out here. It's kind of like Hawaiian style hot sauce. People asked us forever to make that. I kept declining until I came across a recipe for a shoyu style chili pepper water. But smoked habanero, I call the little brother the smoked scorpion. So seeing how it's in an opposite bracket potentially, I think it might have to come down to smoked hab or smoked scorpion. I'm gonna have to stay smoked habanero on that one.
All right. Well, we will get that one lined up. This one on over there, and we're gonna jump on over to this top part of the bracket. Now, well, we have the sriracha versus the jalapeno lime.
That's tough. I'm gonna go jalapeno lime, just because. Yeah, there's a fun story with that, but I could tell you that another day.
All right, no worries. Well, we have the molten mango versus the turmeric ginger.
I'm gonna go turmeric ginger. Again, it's a OG sauce. It's my favorite sauce to add coconut milk to make a really quick Thai style curry.
All right. I like it. I like the idea of both of those are ingredients that I use regularly when cooking, anyways. So it makes
Mhm.
sense to have it in a sauce that I could
Yeah,
use while cooking or while finishing my food.
yeah.
All right. Well, you mentioned this one earlier. So we have the raspberry ghost versus
Mhm.
the hobra.
Yeah, ho bra is something you say here in Hawaii if you get surprised or you're excited or you're just like it's kind of like the Hawaiian exclamation, like ho bra. Like, yeah. I'm gonna have to go raspberry ghost because of pure exclusivity on that.
All right.
It's kind of the thing that you can never have, makes you want it more type of deal.
All right, I like it. Makes sense. Now, the Hobra is that the hottest offering that you have? That's what it looked like.
That is our hottest flavor. Raspberry Ghost is no joke, but the sheer amount of peppers that are involved in making ho bra is ridiculous.
All right, I like it. And for all those chili heads watching and trying to figure that out, there you go. There's your answer. So we have the Koracha versus the
Mm.
triple garlic.
You're killing me here. Those are two of my favorites. I'm gonna go. I love Koracha because we sell that as a charity for local Maui charities, and it's our first collaboration with a hotel. But I am a sucker for garlic, man. That triple garlic with melted butter is like the best meat sauce you've ever had in your life. So I'm gonna go triple garlic.
All right, I like it. It sounds like a winner to me. Let's go ahead and get this one on over there. And let's zoom out and take a look at the
Mm.
remaining 8 here. So we have avocado, we have the pineapple hot sauce, papaya jerk versus smoked habanero. We have the triple garlic versus the raspberry ghost, the turmeric ginger versus the jalapeno lime. Well, the good news is you don't have the smoked scorpion on the board to automatically take the default win here. So we will push on, and now it's coming down to the avocado versus pineapple.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go pineapple on that one.
All right, easy enough. I
Both good
do love the
sauces.
labeling of the avocado. I love the cat inside the avocado aspect. It's great.
Yes, that's the first sauce from our subscription model we use as a test kitchen basically. So when we get feedback from the subscription flavors, we're like, all right, that should be a future flavor. So the avocado, we only make it once a year, but we get a lot of emails asking us to keep it around. So that's why that one has a little bit different label. It's fun.
All right. I like it. Well, papaya jerk versus smoked habanero.
I'm gonna go smoked hob. It's our fastest selling sauce right now. I think I'm not alone. People are falling in love with that one.
I like it. I think that's a good choice. A very solid one. I mean, very friendly, universal for everyone. The habanero, and then to have the real smoke flavor is
Yeah.
another added win there. So, all right. Now we have the jalapeno lime versus the turmeric ginger.
Ah, that's so tough. Um, for me, it's a toss up. I'm gonna go turmeric ginger.
All right.
Um, yep, I love cooking with that one. I use it as an ingredient in itself, so for me, it's fun to cook with.
Makes sense. Definitely sounds like it would be good, as well as so does this triple garlic. It sounds like it would be phenomenal to cook with. But
Yeah.
you have triple garlic now versus the raspberry ghost.
I'm gonna have to go triple garlic. We also have a triple hot garlic if you like something spicier. It's the same exact recipe, just more ghost peppers in it. I'm a savory guy. With the exception of pineapple, I really love savory flavors in my food. Sorry,
Well,
Raspberry Ghost.
no worries there. Now we are down to the final four. Well, we have pineapple versus the habanero, smoked habanero, and then we have the turmeric ginger versus the triple garlic. So up first, pineapple versus smoked habanero.
I'm gonna stay true to Maui and go for the Maui Gold pineapple.
All
It's the
right.
best pineapple. It's the best pineapple in the world, and I think it only edges out the smoked hab because of that.
All right. I like it. I'm going to make that one bigger so that it's emphasized more. All right. Next, we have turmeric ginger versus triple garlic.
Yeah, that one. Like you mentioned, they both would be yummy to cook with. I would definitely go with the triple garlic on that one.
All right.
Just
Triple garlic.
just because.
I like it. Let's make these about the same size. There we go. Maybe the garlic is a little bit bigger. There we go. All right. Go ahead and drop that X there. Now, well, we are down to the final two. Here we go. Pineapple versus triple garlic. Who is taking this one home?
I would say both of them are, in my opinion, and obviously I'm biased. I would say they're both the best versions that I've encountered in the hot sauce world. I'm super proud of both of those. Only because the pineapple, like I said, we use Maui Gold pineapple. It's the best pineapple out there. Our triple garlic was the most heavy garlic forward sauce I've ever tried, and I've tried a lot of them out there. Uh, God, it's so tough to choose between the two. I'm gonna go triple garlic.
All right, triple garlic
I
it
think
is.
it's the most. I'm gonna say with it, big chest. That's the most garlicky hot sauce out there.
I like it. I think that is a great choice. And triple garlic takes it home, wins the Sauce Gauntlet. All in all, a great lineup, not even the full lineup of what you have to offer, but this is a great stepping off point for those that may be unfamiliar with high spice. They get a quick overview of what you have, the different flavor offerings and different pairing possibilities, etc., behind each sauce. So, I hope that you enjoyed the Sauce Gauntlet. It's always a fun way to kind of break up the interview and just
That
get
was
a
tough.
little mental reset.
That was tough. That's for sure. That's I've never been forced to choose between. I don't want to ever have to do that again.
Well, the painful part is done now, and now is really the chance to help out someone else with a nugget of knowledge. With this aspect, since you did say that you are working in the area of having a product that also helps benefit a better cause. Now, what would be your advice to say some other sauce makers that are out there, whether they're just starting out or maybe they've kind of hit a midpoint and they're trying to figure out what to do, but they feel compelled to work with whether it be a local charity or a fundraiser or what have you going on? What would your nugget of knowledge be for that?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, we chose that. It was a no-brainer. It was a new collaboration with a hotel that I felt really has their finger on the pulse for a larger company, on the pulse of needs for the community. And so we obviously had the Lahaina fires 2 years ago, um, going on 3 years, I guess, coming up here, and that was coming out of the tailwind of COVID, and then we have an entire city and entire homes and people's lives literally get wiped off the face of the earth. We've had a number of local charities here that stepped up above and beyond and put those people's lives first to help them, even at the expense of their own companies. There's companies that went out of business helping raise money for these people who had lost their entire livelihoods. So that sauce was one, it was a really great achievement for us personally to have this new collaboration, but then also to take the proceeds and continue to donate to charities who are still helping these communities, fight hunger. You know, one of the companies was there every day providing food for families that had lost their homes and had no food, and so we donated a ton of hot sauce. And the number one complaint was that the food tasted bland. So they were like, "Does anyone have any like sources for hot sauce?" And we're like, "Yeah, we can help out with that." So we donated probably close to 50 cases of hot sauce just so they can almost like MREs, they have
Yep.
little tiny Tabascos. They were getting hot sauce bottles with all their box lunches that they were getting from these kitchens. And so we continue to support those kitchens who are still fighting that fight. Even all this time later, it's surprising how much people are still affected by those. So that touched us close to our heart. We have a really close knit community out here in Maui. It's a small island. So if you're going to do something, I would say do something that affects close to home. Um, there's large charities that help large amounts of people on a much grander scale. But I think we could do so much to affect your local community and have it be on a much more personal level. Um, you don't have to look too far away to find someone that needs help, you know?
Yep.
So that would be my advice is, you know, look close to home because there's someone probably right down the street that needs help. So look for a charity that maybe is supporting your local community versus your city versus your county versus your whole state or your whole country. You know, the little charities are the ones who get the leftovers of the leftovers of the leftovers. Do something to help them out. That'd be my
Absolutely.
advice.
Well said there. Great nugget of knowledge, and thank you for that. Now is your chance to put someone on the hot seat. This is someone you think would make a great guest for the show.
Well, I don't know immediately who has been on your most recent shows. Um, I could shout out, I guess, another local Hawaiian company. I'm not sure if you've ever worked with Spicy Ninja.
I have not.
They're from the Big Island of Hawaii. His name's Chris, and he's one of the most colorful people you've ever met in your life. He's got an incredible story, personal story, but his story of his business and what fuels his passion is incredible as well. So in the hot sauce world, I think we're all very friendly companies. We all support each other, and that's what we have. Katie and I have grown to love about doing hot sauce is that it's not cutthroat. It doesn't feel like someone's trying to kneecap me to get one up on me, you know.
Yep.
Um, and so he's on another island away, so it's hard to support him because he's not physically. I have to take a boat or a plane to go see him.
Yep.
But I love what he's doing over there, and I think he's one of the most creative sauce blenders. Like the ingredients that he uses, you don't see them in typical hot sauces, beyond just being grown in Hawaii himself. So he kind of is of the similar mindset that we're supporting local agriculture, and a lot of it he actually grows himself, which is pretty impressive on a whole other scale. So I'm gonna tip my hat to Spicy Ninja, um, and Chris and his team over there. They're doing pretty fun, incredible things.
Well, thank you for that nomination, Chris. I'll be reaching out to have Spicy Ninja on, and looking forward to learning more. And now here is this opportunity where, for those that are just audio listening only on Apple Podcasts, where can they find you? How can they find you? And if you have any kind of announcements that you would like to make, this is a great opportunity for that as well.
We're on all your social medias: Facebook, Instagram. They're not all the same handle, so I won't bother you with one. Just type in HI for the state. High spice. It has a lot of meanings, but a lot of people do it like hi, how you doing? But it was intended to be HI for Hawaii. Um, Instagram. We even have TikTok. We try to do more fun stuff on TikTok. You can always buy all of our offerings are on our website, except a lot of the new sauces we do are only available at the farmers market. So you got to fly your butt all the way out here to Hawaii. Come see us because we're always coming up with something new. We have a bunch of new flavors slated to release leading up to the holiday season. If you thought we had a lot of flavors now, we're about to blow some minds with a whole slew of new stuff. So, plus our subscription model always brings a new flavor. Our next one drops this first Tuesday in August here. So that's right around the corner. That sauce is incredible. It's a collaboration with a local company on Big Island as well. So yeah, that's the best ways is to get it online. You can buy it from third-party stores, but they're just going to charge you more. So all of our prices on our website include free shipping. So the price you see is the price you get, and it's best to buy in bundles of 4, 8, 16. So you'll get sticker shock. One bottle I think is $19, but that includes shipping. But you can get 4 bottles for $47, and that includes shipping. So the price dramatically decreases if you're willing to buy at least 4 flavors from us. So make sure you do that. So
Well,
yeah,
well, Justin, thank you so much for coming on. It has been an absolute pleasure. Obviously, there's still so much more we can talk about, and so much more I can learn about, what's going on in Hawaii and the different ingredient selections, etc. Would love to have you back on. It's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you so much for being here.
absolutely. I have to do a follow-up one of these times.
Justin, thank you so much for coming on. It has been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast. If you want to keep up with High Spice, I will have all the direct links down below for that and all the ways you can keep up with them on social media, as well as check out the link to the main site so you can check out the full lineup of amazing products. Go ahead and use this promo code that is provided by High Spice for all of Swear Nation to be able to experience the great bold, fresh flavors and all that great heat on everything that you are loving and lathering up, whether you're cooking with it or finishing with it. Head on over there, use that promo code, and pick yourself up some High Spice. If you enjoyed the products that are featured here on Hot or Not, I will have the direct links down below for those, as well as a link to the main site so you can check out the full lineup of amazing products. And I want to give a quick shout out to all of y'all for sharing this out. Thank you so much for staying engaged and sharing this out with other like-minded individuals or chili heads that are just curious about the world of hot, because this is where you can find everything to do with the world of hot. New episodes drop every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central. And I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, podvision.io. If you're looking to grow your brand, start your brand, hit a bump in the road, you're trying to figure things out, highly recommend checking out podvision.io for all of those needs, as well as webdx.one. Maybe you have a site, maybe you had a guy at one point, you lost contact with him, or maybe you just never got around to building one. Highly recommend checking out webdx.one. They make it easy, painless, and really get you looking great online while you can focus on what you do best. I'm Brandon Swear, everything from the world of hot. This has been The Swear Word.